Hello, welcome to November Echo.
Hello.
I'm here with Ed.
I'm Ed.
I'm Nick.
Lovely. And we're just going to do a quick event review for a lovely little event I went to down in Bournemouth. So it was run by the Attrition lads, who are Neil and Reese. I've been to many Attrition events, and they're absolutely lovely gentlemen. And this one was done at the Bournemouth Beachhead event, which is a big sort of massive expo centre with loads going on. There was a huge 40k, I think it was an ITC. No one looked like they were having fun, so I think it was ITC. There was AOS going on, there was bolt action, there was all sorts going on. And Neil and Reese, the Attrition lads, ran a fantastic little Heresy event. It was a cool 300 plus miles to get down there.
So not far then.
Not far, no, not far. But I do enjoy going down there. So I just thought I'd go through my army and what games I played. So
What is this madness?
It's a bit of a mongrel army.
Yeah.
So I've been slowly working on my word bearers, and I wanted to play with them.
Oh, is that why there's this part of the army?
This bit, yeah. So the whole idea was, look, if you're going to be the bad guys, the Night Lords, I might as well be the real bad guys of the word bearers. And my army has an absolutely ton of synergy / tons of rules that I understood, but didn't realise that it was going to be a real ball ache to make sure my opponent understood. Right. But to go through it quickly, the primary detachment was the Night Lords, who of course are running Terror Assault because
why wouldn't
you? My HQ was just a Tartarus Praetor running the Warmonger, Rite of War, because it gives me 2 in the shooting phase. Of course. I should say it's 3,250 points.
That's an odd number.
Was the allowance for the event, and you had to book named characters in advance.
Right.
I booked Erebus because I wanted to summon demons. He's not my warlord, but he's here. Anyway.
I'm disappointed with you that you own Erebus.
I love him. Anyway, so yeah, Tartarus Praetor, Warmonger as the warlord. He is running with a 5-man Tartarus command squad, 2 of which have lightning claws, 3 of which have thunder hammers. The normal guys all have combi melters, and the Praetor had the combi disintegrator.
Oh, yeah. So all the filth heads.
Yeah. I knew I was going to come up against Primarch, so I needed something. They are running in my 1 heavy support choice because for some reason you can't take Spartans as dedicated transport for command squads.
Really?
Yeah, you can't. You can take Proteuses, but not Spartans. And I wanted a Spartan. So I have my lovely faithful Spartan with Triplaz and Flare Shield. Mm-hmm. Doesn't need a searchlight. Can you guess why? Praeside. Yes. If it shoots in my Night Lord's army, it's a god of the Praeside. So tooled up Spartan. Then I have, this is the nice bit.
Okay, the nice bit. 2
tactical squads. Thank you.
Oh, he took his minimum troops off tactical.
And then
how many points is this? Is that 240 or 220?
Wait, there's more niceness.
No, sure there is. I don't believe a word.
We did get told beforehand that objectives would be very important in this.
Right.
So line
units
is not
crucial.
It wasn't required, but there was a heads up saying like take line units. Anyway, so yeah, 2 tac squads, Artists for Armour and Vexilla. That's it on those.
Okay.
Then continuing with the shooty, my fast attack, I went all the out.
I can tell.
So I, having watched Ian play with his 2 sabres with all the Volkite, I thought that looks really fun. So I got a dual sabre Volkite with Night Lords, counts as 20. Therefore, they are effective strength 8 Volkite. And no searchlights because... Praeside, yes sir. Which means no evade as well.
Oh, yes. Just to mock us even more. Yeah.
Now...
How nice are you?
They didn't do great.
They are just sabres with Volkite. Were you expecting them to?
They're very swingy. I've seen them do very good, and I've also seen them do nothing. So, for fun, I had a great time with them.
Okay.
If you were trying to be a bit more killy...
Is that why we move on to the next fast
There's
attack
other ways to do
this?
Maybe. Yeah. My other fast attack slots were 2 units of 2 javelins with Malta, Las Cannon, and Praeside. Yes. I don't get any of the Night Lord outnumbery bonuses for these because
Are you bulky free?
They're not bulky.
They're not bulky.
Cavalry has not got the bulky rule.
Oh,
so jet bikes no longer bulky, outriders no longer bulky, and javelins no longer bulky. They just are cavalry.
So you outnumber a dreadnought, and that's it.
They do outnumber a dreadnought because there's 2 of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
For some reason, dreadnoughts are one man.
Yeah, because they're dreadnought. They're not bulky. Javelins are just very different this edition. I mean, we've had a year and a half this edition now. People have learned it. They're still very good.
They're
very good. They've gone up in points, but their utility, their speed, their returning fire, their reactions, the fact that it's 5 points to then go to 2 last cannons.
That's what I want to talk about. How many points is it for the last cannon, you say?
It's a 5-point upgrade.
So the chassis has went up in points, but the last cannons went way down.
Well, to be fair, it was never that much more, but it used to be 1 shot twin linked. It's now 2 shots, but a 5-point upgrade. You no longer have strafing run, blah blah blah. So you're only hitting on 3s, but do you know what? Okay. And Melter, now that Armored Ceramite's gone, you're fast. You get up in Beetle's Grill.
Right, there goes your Spartans.
Javelins are just different. They're very good.
Very different.
They're very different and very good. And yeah, because they're not a vehicle, returning fire, 360 arcs, you don't have to worry about where your sponsors and all that sort of stuff.
You're charging the rear, it doesn't help you anymore.
No. And to finish out the Night Lords, again in the shooty vein. Sorry, my dog is attacking me. Get over. Finish out the shooty vein is a Contemptor Dreadnought with dual C-beam and Prey Sight. Yes. He was a bit swingy as well.
Really?
Yeah, some games he was absolutely amazing.
I think he's the most broken unit in the game.
He's not the most broken unit in the game because obviously the moment people move, he's there to take out Spartans and Spartans move towards him. And once they're under that 45 inches, so if you get Dawn of War and they get first turn, unless you position correctly, and Attrition did a very good job with terrain, was very good at sort of limiting this sort of thing and made dramas. So some games he was phenomenal and was just shutting stuff down. Other games, we had less results, but Blind was always there. He did his work.
Fair enough. So you made his points back.
4 Las is more reliable, but I like the C-beam for outranging las cannon teams and causing drama.
Yes, and without your, I suppose, no night fighting.
No, night fight does not bother me because I've got prey sight. So I don't. The only people that are affected in this army were the 2 tack squads in this detachment, were the 2 Night Lord tack squads, and now the Word Bearer part of the whole thing. So kind of the combat element and the bit more meat and potatoes and the harder to understand what was going on. Okay, so this is Allied detachment, and it's running their Rite of War, which I believe was Dark Sacrifice. I think it's called Dark Sacrifice, which is the
Word Bearer Filth.
Word Bearer Filth. You pick an enemy unit. If you hurt it, grand, nothing happens to you. If you kill it, you pick a unit in your army and you buff their strength, movement, and weapon skill. And it can be up to a maximum of 3.
So this is the Friend Breaker list, right?
No, it's not the Friend Breaker list.
This man ever.
That's not
He's
true.
A horrible man.
It's not true.
Can't argue with that.
Logical. If you don't hurt the unit at all, you take a Perils of the Warp on a random unit in that detachment, so I have to roll off. Now, I do now know, upon re-looking at my rules, I played it slightly wrong.
Oh, what do you mean?
I was playing it as the Word Bearers had to do the killing of that unit to score me the points. It's not. That unit just has to be killed or removed, so my Night Lords could have been scoring it for me. So I wasn't doing the Friend Breaker rule because I was playing.
You will next time.
I was playing on hard mode. Yes, next time though. If you play this list, and I may be playing it against Tony when he comes on in a couple of weeks' time.
That poor man.
Yeah, I've warned him, and I said I'd only take 5 gold.
Poor lad. You know, he's just a lovely lad. He's a little fanboy of this channel. Came here, and now you're going to butcher him on channel.
I'm not. I might do. We'll see how the game goes. Anyway, so to the actual army list, Erebus was leading because he's not the warlord. He is just my HQ, and that's because I wanted to summon the demons. So I have 6 demon brutes who were using the bound demon brutes, I should say, who are running the encroaching ruin. I can't think what it's called. They're like, you know, demons get to choose one thing.
Right.
That was their one, and it basically means they get moved through cover, and whenever they take a fail. Like if they have to be morale, they just take 1. It's not D3. just take.
Oh, only take one. That's not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty.
And they've all got multi-wounds, yeah, aren't they? How many
They're
wounds?
all 4 or 3 wound each.
Oh.
4 wound, I think. Toughness 5. 4 up armor, 5 up invuln.
So works.
They're only weapon skill 4, but they are flat AP 3, and they are weirdly they're murderous strike on a 5 up, but rending on a 6 up.
That's odd.
So 5 is like instant death, but you get your full armor, and on a 6 it's instant death and no armor. They're weird but cool.
Good.
And
keep track of that.
Erebus summons them, and then they can charge out of summon.
Yeah,
it's quite good fun.
That's
Very good fun, in fact. 2 tactical squads, exactly the same as the Night Lord ones, so just Artificer and Vexilla. And one of them was corrupted so that Erebus could be in the unit with them.
Ah, right.
Because Erebus is corrupted.
You need some bodyguards.
You have to be corrupted to allow him. I was going to run in with the Gal Vorback, but he's slower than the Vorback, and I wanted them hoofing up the... He would have given the Vorback hatred, blah, 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 but I wanted to summon demons and just go. And then, obviously, as we've mentioned several times already, 10 of the Emperor's chosen sons. 10 Gal Vorback. 2 of them with power fists.
Oh!
And
they're strength 5, so
the strength 5 base, strength 10 base, and then you start putting the dark packs on them.
Oh!
And you start going buffs, and then they become movement 9, then they become movement 10, and weapon skill 6, and then weapon skill 7. So they do roll really high. Now.
And aren't they initiative 5 as
They're
well?
initiative 5 base. Yeah. With frag grenades.
Oh, they got frag
They
grenades.
got frag grenades,
so no hide and cover.
You can't hide and cover from them.
Oh.
They are phenomenal. But everyone knows Gal Vorback are phenomenal. That's why you blame Woodrush.
This is why Typhons were invented.
This is why Typhons do tear them to pieces. 10 was amazing. It borders on the bit much. However...
How many points is this, though?
It's 580 points.
Oh, well, I want it to be phenomenal for 580
Yeah, 580 points. I'm on foot. I didn't put them in tanks. No. Haven't added a character to them. And yours going to be going up against Primarchs, things like that. Yeah. So, forgive me, but also I'm the bad guy. It's fine.
Yes, that's fine. So, you are allowed to hate you. You're playing Wargaming.
And Night Lords.
Yeah, well, we'll all hate you for that anyway. It's fine.
Night Lords are the best. So, in a very long-winded way, that was my army. How did it do? Mixed. Ooh. Mixed results. Partially because of the missions, which were phenomenally written, phenomenally narrative.
So how many games was this?
4 games. 4 games over 2 days. It was called the Ruinstorm event, so it was all about demons and shutting water. So hence why I took this list.
So you're claiming theme now, are we?
I'm claiming theme. Oh, yeah. I'm all for the theme. Heresy is narrative. Heresy is narrative. And there's no heavy support squads.
That's true.
And no Marigal and no combat dreads. See, I did limit it. I could have gone combat dreads. I could have done Marigals.
There's no 10-man last cannon.
There's no 10-man last cannon team.
I'm very proud.
Thank you. See, moral high ground belongeth to thee. How did it do? Okay. I won 2 and lost 2.
So you're 50-50 with this,
I went 50-50. I really enjoyed it. I had a blast with this list. I was really enjoying the combination of shooty Night Lords with the whole night fight, pre-sight, you can't evade, all that joy. Oh. And the combat of the Word Bearers, who literally, turn 1, the Gal Vorback would run, and I'd just get them in the opponent's face, and they'd just look at them and go, right, you've got to do something about me, and they can eat shots for days.
They've got 3 wounds each.
3 wounds each, 5 up, feel no pain. They don't have an invuln because they have to have Argyle Tal as the warlord to get that.
Yes, and he has to be in the squad.
And he has to be in the squad, so they're not line, they don't have an invuln. So again, internet, don't hate me too much for 10 Gal Vorback.
Feel free to leave out comments, I will.
So I had a running forward, so the attack squad with Erebus would leg it forward, and then Erebus would just go, demons! Because he moves, you can't run, but then he summons within 12 inches of himself, and then the demons who've got movement at 8, move out of the summon spot, And then they get intercepted, but then they charge. And so
yeah, but they've got a million moves.
They've got but that doesn't help against heavy bolters with augury scanners and fury. They die. Don't get me wrong, they died.
Yes, I fought some of these things on Sunday.
You did. They're okay. They're okay. If you've got the stuff to deal with them, you'll tear them apart. You'll tear them apart. Heavy bolters mint them.
Oh.
Volkite annihilates them.
I know, I'm very upset on Sunday. If they went the other side, my Volkite to him didn't get intercept them.
But so I had an absolute blast. And one thing I didn't factor, so I was very careful to learn my rules, apart from that detachment didn't have to score it, anyone could have, before I went, because I was aware that there's a lot of things going on in my army. So I was like, as long as you know your army, it's okay. What I didn't realise would be a real ball ache for my opponents was them not knowing what's going on. Well, so it'd be like, right, so these guys have prey sight, yeah, but those guys don't. But this does, but that doesn't, but this does, but this doesn't. And I'm like, yeah, that does, this doesn't, this does. So they were like, when can I evade, when can I not evade? So I had to be very clear. I was like, Night Lord shooty, prey sight. But when you're in the middle of a game, that'll get... And then demon rules, so the Gal Vorbak were initiative 5, weapon skill 5, all this sort of stuff.
Many attacks,
with
rending
3 up armor.
Instant death on a 6?
On a 6, yeah. With it, there's armor. And then they go, right, well, are the brutes like that? No, the brutes are toughness 5 with 3, like going through it all. And then they'd be like, right, is that this? I'm like, yes, but I got
actually, you're starting to sound a little complicated.
But then I got Dark Sacrifice, so they're now actually weapon skill 6, blah, blah, and it just... While I didn't have a problem, or I don't think I did, my opponents may differ. I think I had a problem keeping track of what was going on. I could see my opponents just going, what the hell? Do you know what I mean? Like...
I claim shenanigans and never play it again. I agree.
I think my opponents had trouble keeping up with what was going on, and then they would they'd get really freaked out when you move forward and summon demons, and then those demons, they're like, oh my god, they can do this, and you're like, oh yeah. Yes. They then annihilate them, because 3 out of 4 games they were summoned and then got just shot off the board, because you get to free intercept them.
That's true.
So now, how would I have played it different? I would have done all my shooting to eat all your reactions first, and then go. And now Erebus summons demons, so you can't use your...
in the shooting phase, are they?
It's in the shooting phase. So you can still... You get the interceptor reaction in the shooting phase, but if you've already spent your reaction somewhere else, you can't do it. So what I was doing was turn 1, literally the first thing I was doing was demons! And now I realise I should have shot everything, baited out those reactions onto other things, and then summoned demons. But that's by the by.
To be fair, I don't think anyone was evading against you.
Not often. No, not often.
I don't think many things are allowed to evade against you.
Against the word bearers, you can evade plenty.
Oh, some Balkan shots you can evade. How nice of Ed. Such a lovely man he is. What was mission 1, Ed?
Mission 1, I went up against the lovely Mark, and I will flash up his Instagram handle, because I did get it, and I've forgotten it off the top of my head now, because it was Instagram handles and they're a bit weird. Mark was playing Loyalist Emperor's Children. He had a really... It was weird, but it was cool. He had Sol Tarvitz.
That's why
Phoenix Terminator, so everything was like pretty, and I'll be flashing up pictures. He painted this entire army in 5 days.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, it was bloody amazing. So he was like, oh yeah, like I even, like, no offense to the other people, I voted him for my favourite loyalist, because I was just like, if you can paint that in 5 days, like, well done to it. But it was really cool. Fairly standard Emperor's Children, as in like a couple of combat dreads, Sol Tarvitz didn't stand, but like Sun Killers, Phoenix Terminators, blah-de-blah-de-blah.
And
then he had lots of Assault Marines deep striking down, which is really cool.
Different.
The missions, and again, I will plug this to the cows come home, missions were written by Neil of Attrition Gaming, and they were so cool. So, you had 2 objectives in your own deployment zone, and there was 1 central objective. You could only score your home ones if you held the centre.
Wow, that's amazing.
You had to leave you had to leave the units there, but also you had to go and hold the centre. If you didn't hold the centre, you didn't get your objectives. So it was really like, how much do you commit to that centre, and then how much do you hold back? Peach mission rate.
That is amazing.
I like it. It was great fun. Could I hold the centre? 10 Gal Vorbak said yes.
Of course.
Because this narrative event was very demon rules-wise, there was a rule in the mission, in the whole event, that was if you are Word Bearers, World Eaters, Death Guard, I think it was All Sons of Horror, you auto went first. Your opponent could seize on you, but you auto went first. I did clarify with Neil, I was like, my Word Bearers are an allied detachment, and he went, yeah, but you've got Erebus and Demons, like, you fit the narrative.
Fair enough.
So you get to go first. So I pretty much got to go first. So I did go first in this game. I will be flashing up pictures as it comes. Basically, Seabeam Dread just looked at his Spartan and just went, click, bang! That exploded. My Spartan rolled up to deliver my scoring Terminators onto the centre. My Gal Vorback just yeeted forward as fast as they could because I was trying to pin him back. Erebus walked forward and summoned demons, and they went and assaulted. It was either in a tactical squad or some other squad. I'll get the pictures. But the demons went like turn one charge straight up. It was basically my plan worked perfectly. There was a very shaky moment in turn two when his reserves did show up. Like, thank God for him, because by then I'd had 2 turns of like smashing his army in. His reserves dropped, and he had... So I had tactical squads basically spread out, holding with the rest of my army had fecked off. Yeah. He dropped a unit of Palatine Blades that rinsed my backfield objective. Yeah. He had like he had a Praetor and I think a Herald in a unit of like really tooled up Assault Marines who rinsed the mid-ground. I really struggled to deal with them because I haven't got much intercepting, and so like when he drops down, I'm not the most intercepty person. So my army did wobble. However, and I did warn him. He was a new player to Heresy. He was a pretty new player to Heresy.
The newbies, eh?
I got matched up. I did warn him at the beginning of the game. He was like, right, can you just tell me what's what? And I was like, shooty, avoiding combat. And he was like, right, got you, no problem. And so he kind of ignored the Gal Vorback, and they just absolutely ran through his lines. And they ended up getting into the Saul Tarvitz's tactical squad and just ripping them to pieces and doing all sorts. And he did say at the end of the game, I wish I'd have been shooting them. And I was like, yeah, fair enough.
Nasty things.
I basically finished the game with like limping home with a couple of units left though, because he'd ripped the other stuff to pieces. But I did win. In the end, I did win.
So you won with heavy casualties?
Very, very heavy casualties. I'm pretty sure the Gal Vorback were alive. The demons had a really good fight. So they ended up nomming their way around his back. And then they hit the Phoenix Terminators. Now the Phoenix Terminators were better weapon skill. Then they can choose to make me hit even worse. The problem and they've got instant death weapons. The only instant death on a 6. And he was trying to get those 6s, and he was just really unlucky. He was putting out millions of attacks, just wasn't rolling those 6s, which would have totaled my demons. So I was losing combat with his Phoenix Terminators constantly, but they, because of Encroaching Ruin, they were just ticking down 1 wound each time. So I think I held them up for like 3 or 4 rounds of combat. I did nothing to them, nothing. But he was tied up. He was tied up with my unit, and that freed up everyone else to go around and go ham. I think my Warlord's unit ended up taking on his Warlord's unit after firing a lot of guns into them and all that. But eventually, it was a game 1 win, and I was very happy with that. This was the first time where I'd noticed that my opponents were like, what the hell's going on? Because obviously Dark Sacrifice stuff was buffing up and going lower. I put it down to, he's just a new guy, doesn't quite get. But that should have been my first red flag that this is a complicated list for my opponent to understand.
It is
not something I've ever considered. I've always thought, you need to know your list.
Yes.
I'm going to say something controversial. I don't mind new players going to events.
Yeah.
I have no problem with newbies going to events. Just don't have it be like your first ever games of Heresy and stuff like that. Because if I'm having to teach you through it, like, no, I've paid to be there. I don't want to have to teach you through it.
Yes.
So I know it's controversial, and I don't mind playing new people who've got a vague idea. Like, if I'm playing complicated stuff, no problem. I'll talk you through it.
just don't bring the Mechanicum to your first ever one, though.
But I've had a couple of times in the past, not at Attrition, but other events where people, it's my first ever game of Heresy, and I'm playing Mechanicum, and they go, cool, what does this rule do? And I'm like, I don't know, because Mechanicum, if you'd have picked a Legion, I can help you through this. But also, like, this is not Mark. I'm not saying this was about Mark. Mark was brilliant. But I was just saying this was my inkling of a complicated army. And then I was going on a tangent about newbies. Newbies, please come to events, but play a bit before you come to them.
Practice first.
Practice a little bit first.
You're saying practice makes perfect?
Practice makes perfect.
Makes a decent game.
There you go. But again, the mission, the terrain was fantastic. Neil and Reese always do a fantastic job of... There's no... gun armies don't have an advantage. There's normally lots of line of sight blocking, but then there's plenty of avenues for movement. So I say the objective was in the centre, but we had to basically break around it and go left and right. So armies get split up, and then you get pockets of fighting. It was really cool. But I must admit, Mark's army dropping behind me when I'd just gone full yeet forward, and my tactical marines just going, help! It was a bit bad. Erebus ended up breaking away from his squad to come over and help and bat some assault marines to death, which was because I think the tactical marines were sat on an objective, and Erebus was like, I can go and help over there. So he just yeeted over and came. Now, also I must mention, word bearers are not friends with the Night Lords.
What is your?
They're not distrusted there, and it's not battle. It's the middle one where it's just like
Fellow warriors.
Fellow warrior, where they're like. So
it doesn't affect them.
It doesn't. No one negative, but they can't buff each other. And the word bearers couldn't get in my tank, which will matter later. And characters can't join other units and stuff like that. So it was all just sort of like you haven't got the right kind of flayed skulls to get into my pretty Spartan. But that was just what I said. Erebus went over and he sort of stood on his own, but helping batter people to death. That was game one.
Sounds fun game.
It was.
Can't believe you won though.
I was a bit worried when he set up, the usual Sun Killers, Dreadnoughts, and I got 2 turns of killing his army before the rest of his stuff showed up.
That's the
and then by then,
reserve
and then it was pockets of army. It definitely swung it as soon as the reserves came in. Definitely swung.
Shall we move on to game 2 then?
Let's go on to game 2. Game 2. Game 2 was against one of, annoyingly, the prettiest armies I've ever witnessed. So he is a lovely gentleman called Josh. Josh, also I will flash up his Instagram tag, but I'm pretty sure it's Water Beast. I hate him because he's got white scars and they're prettier than mine.
Oh,
they are stunning. So stunning that obviously he won Best Mated Loyalist because they are gorgeous. And I just quickly jump back to game 1. Game 1, Josh was fighting, I believe, a gentleman called Ollie, who had World Eaters, whose World Eaters were also. And I am not exaggerating when I say it's the prettiest game of Heresy I have ever watched. So I was playing my game, but honestly, like the amount of cinematic, beautiful, it was box art. Do you know what I mean? Like it was just these 2 stunning art. There was like a moment where a Leviathan was fighting a Leviathan, and I was just like, oh yeah, I'm playing. Hang on, sorry. Anyway, so yes, I played Luke. Now, again, narrative mission. This one was skewed to the Loyalists.
Yes.
So this was a very much the Loyalists. It was all in their favour, and the traitors were hard up. So it was the angles. Anyway, long edge, but angled towards each other. Loyalists scored points for every infantry unit, I believe, that was out of their deployment zone and or in my deployment zone. So they basically just had to run, and it was points for everything. I only scored points. I had 2 objectives, one outside my deployment and one in the enemy's deployment. I scored 3 points for each one held, but you had to hold it for an entire game turn, not just player turn. So you had to get on it, then wait an entire turn. So if you held it if you went second and you held it your turn, you had to then go through their turn to score it. So it was bloody awkward, and I didn't win. Josh won, and but I had so much fun. I had so much fun with this game, and Josh did some peach moves that I'm so stealing with my white scars. So he seized on me again. I got to go first because I'm word bearers, rules of the event. But he seized on me. His army was because he got to roll 2 dice.
Yes.
He knows he doesn't have to use his 2 dice for the first turn because I've got first turn. Might as well use them for the season. White Scars gets 2 dice. His army was Jagatai Khan.
So he brought Primarch.
He brought a Primarch in a big block of Assault Marines with I believe they had a chaplain with them, and then he had a Storm Seer, which is the White Scars specific librarian, in a unit of the White Scars specific destroyers, which is really cool, you never see them. And then he had his only jet bikes were some Golden Keshig.
Wow.
Then he had a Leviathan, a Contemptor, and he had 1,000,000 javelins like I did. I think he had 3 javelins and along those lines. So he got turn 1, seized on me. The most bullshit move, right? So he did the Storm Seers fleet movement. Now everyone within a certain range of him gains fleet, and he was dead center in the deployment zone where everyone's cranked up. So Jagatai Khan first turn moved 20 inches because he literally just went movement plus his run, which is your initiative, plus 4. So he moved 8, then he's initiative 8, so 16 plus the 4 for fleet. So Jagatai just went right, ran on the board. The Assault Marines move 12, run 4 with fleet, gets them up. On it, his entire army just went boom, right in front. I was like, holy crap!
You give me crap for my Willies running that fast.
Whenever I whinge about White Scars not being that fast, the only negative I will say for the whole move is that your Stormseer has to stay still, which I think is bullshit. Your Stormseer should be allowed to move when he does it. But he has to stay still. Yeah. But it meant his dreadnoughts were just like pounding up the board. It was.
So you've stolen this idea for the next course?
Definitely! Jagatai Khan going 20 inches turn 1. But that's not all. Just wait.
Oh, God. Well,
anyway, so he, at the end of turn 1, scored 1 billion points because he had a load of units outside his deployment zone. I don't think he killed anything of mine because he wasn't very shooty-based. Night fight, I pretty much limited his shooting. My turn 1, there was, as you'll see from the pictures, there was we were playing longwise, and there was a big, long building here that forced, so his Jagatai Khan and army went that way. His 2 dreadnoughts went that way. What I did was send my Galvor back against the dreadnoughts.
Okay.
Because I could fight them.
Win.
And win. I mean, Jagatai's not the best Primarch for fighting Galvor, because it's only Murderous Strike on a 5-up, I believe. But it's still more than I wanted.
Yeah.
Anyway. And then sort of the rest of my army broke right to deal with Jagatai. I summoned the demons to deal with Jagatai, which did not work.
When you say not work, you mean...
Wait. Fine. It's cool. And my Terminators avoided Jagatai like the plague, so they broke left. And again, because I was going for his deployment zone to try and get this objective, so I broke left. Anyway, long story short, Josh does win in the end. I don't think I scored that many points. I think I won with last man standing, because in the end, all he had was Jagatai Khan alive. I killed everything bar Jagatai.
That was a massacre.
2 phenomenal things happened in this game. This game will go down in history for me as absolutely grand. The first one was, so I moved forward, summoned demons, sent them into Jagatai Khan. Jagatai Khan fought them. He didn't kill them all, but he then hit and run. He then rolled an insanely high hit and run. So by the end of turn 1, he's gone from the middle of his own deployment zone to literally the middle of my deployment zone.
Oh.
Because because hit and run is 3d6 plus your movement. So he literally just went, bang, 20 inches. I charged him, he hit and ran off. And literally it was just like the slingshot maneuver from Armageddon or something. He just went, talk about fast. The man was going light speed and pulling his Assault Marines with him. It was beautiful. And then the second most amazing thing happened, which is so good. So I'd basically by this point so I hadn't been holding objectives, but I was killing his army. The Galvor back took a bit of time, but they got through his Contemptor. They took a bit of time, but they got through his Leviathan, because you're going for those 6s for Murderous Strike, but they got through him.
So you're going for the D3 wounds, and then you've got the Power Fist.
Yeah. So they got through him. Javelins were killing things left, right, and centre. The Sabres were, what do they say in 300? Talented amateurs. They did their part. Attack Marines were dying in droves, but yeah. There was a really cool moment where his librarian was doing the psychic powers on my demons because they get instant death with psychic powers. So he was going like, unlimited power, and killing things. But eventually I killed them. So basically, there was Jagatai Khan and his assault squad left alive, right?
Yeah.
I was killing the assault squad all down, just like plinky, 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 plinky. But Jagatai Khan charged into the tactical squad with Erebus.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else died. You think, oh great, and my entire army was ready to just turn and shoot at Jagatai Khan. Until Erebus went, I'm fearless, I don't run away.
He's fearless. That's a piece of his shit.
Oh my god! So
I hate him so much.
On his own, bollocked up my entire army's plan, which is why I love it, because everyone hates Erebus, and Erebus fucked up my own plan, and that is so cool that I couldn't not help but scream in joy that Erebus bollocked up my own, not just the enemy's plan. Erebus! So he held Jagatai, which meant that he was safe from being shot to pieces. My entire army, I'd literally turned them all to face him. And Erebus held him, which meant that in my turn, Khan was safe, killed Erebus in my turn, and then was loose again and just went running off. So I lost horrifically, but moral victory was Jagatai was the only one left alive, and I had a great.
That's definitely a moral victory.
And I had a great time. I had an absolutely great time, and it was just a beautiful. It's a great army to die to because it was really pretty. I did, and this is a really selfish moment. Josh has painted up some of the new Mark III Marines, tactical Marines, and they're stunning. I am not ashamed to say I loved killing them because, fuck me, they were pretty and better work than I could do, and I just wanted them dead. So, sorry, John.
Wow.
Game 3. Game 3 was... so this is day 2 now. Okay. After the event, again, the lovely lads from Attrition. It wasn't an organised meal, but anyone who wanted to go for a meal, there was like, oh, come along, we're all going out. So we all ended up going out for a nice meal together, and it was a lovely time. And this was a total tangent, a total aside. It was a wonderful time until the parking in Bournemouth fucked me up. Because I had my car parked in a car park using an app to pay for parking. It was like, oh, it runs out at 8 o'clock at night, but it's fine, I'll just refresh it on the app. Got to like 5 to 7, got a text going, your car park's about to expire. So, yeah, no problem, no problem. Refresh. You have exceeded the maximum time allowed in this car park. I was like, oh bugger. So I was like, really sorry lads, gotta pay, and then yeeted, and everything in Bournemouth is apparently up a hill. So I had to run back to the hotel as fast as I could to get my car keys, which I'd left because I don't need my car keys, then run to the car, only to then shift the car to put in a new car park. And I was just like, So I did have to duck out on the lads at the end of the night. So
I'm sure they forgive you.
They did forgive me. So I'm very sorry, but yeah, sorry. Total tangent, the parking in Bournemouth sucks. And everything's uphill. I thought it was meant to be at sea level. It's a seaside town. Anyway, game 3 was day 2, and this was the day of the Imperial Fisting. So I ended up going up against my first of 2 Imperial Fists. This was Ollie, who is also a member of the Remy, so good on you, lad. Not only is he in the army, but he's in the correct regiment of the army, so good on you, Ollie. Oh, okay. And he had his Imperial Fists, which were allied with Custodes. He had, He had, I think it was like a shield captain in a block of 5 men, a second block of 5 men. He had is it the Galatus with the sword and shield dreadnought?
Oh, something like that.
Sword and shield Custodes dreadnought. Then he had 10-man missile squad, 10-man heavy bolter squad with the Castellan, which makes them line. Then he had... did he have a levy? No, I don't think. I think he dealt with Dread. And then he had a Templars in a... is it Templars? He had some sort of combat unit. Yeah, what? In a
Let's have that.
Land Raider.
That's what
yeah. No, I think they were Templars. They were combat unit in his Land Raider, and then a couple of tax squads from memory. The pictures will be coming up as I do. This was a week and a half ago that I played this. The only time we could get Nick to come and do this. And I didn't think you just want me chatting. If you do just want me chatting in the future, it's very easy to do, but I wouldn't have anyone to bounce off. So I imagine it would be very dull. I could get Nova. The tangents, that's what people want, is tangents. So This mission, so unlike the end of day 1, which was skewed to the loyalists, this one was skewed to the traitors, which, again, this mission, so much fun for me, because it was skewed towards me. Big central warp rift. So it was effectively the size of a large blast marker, I believe. Blocks line of sight, can't move through it. So it's impassable and blocks line of sight. So it's basically a big column of demon light. Now, as traitors, I'm scoring points for everything I kill of the loyalists. So everything is VPs to me, just to kill them. Loyalists have to shut down the warp rift. And how you shut down the warp rift is line units that are in base to base with the warp rift must roll 2d6. And on the roll of a 7, an exact 7, not up or down, you remove a point from the warp rift. It has 3 points. And you roll 2d6 per unit in close combat. Now, in base to base. Units in base to base cannot be targeted for shooting by me. I can charge them, but they're effectively... They can act, but they can't... As long as they stay in base to base, they get to, at the end of their turn, roll these 2d6.
For your shooting army, I feel like the Night Lords must have been shut down a bit.
Yeah, well, the Night Lords were a little bit.
But luckily you have this part.
Luckily I have this. But they got shut down. So I only won through... I limited what units got through and were rolling. But again, I took so many heavy casualties in this game. I got first turn, he didn't seize on me. I belted forward with the Galvorback and I declared the contents of the Land Raider as my priority target, thinking I'd get through the Land Raider. I didn't, which was limited me somewhat. This was at the point, again, I didn't realise my Night Lords could have done it for me. So I was basically targeting everything else with the Night Lords, thinking they would get through. Anyway, it still went really good. I summoned my demons, he intercepted them to shite. Yeah. So I think there was only 2 left by the end of the turn that they were summoned. But then they charged into attack squads that they ripped apart, and then eventually one was left alive, and it buzzed off and shut down a quad mortar that was at the back, because they've got quite a lot of movement, quad mortars. My Galvorback ran forward, beat up the Land Raider itself, but then the Custody... but again, remember I picked the target was the guy inside it, and the Custodes Dreadnought came forward and engaged them. Now, the Custodes Dreadnought is famous for not having brutal, not being that good. Doesn't have brutal. What does it have, Nick? Instant death on all its attacks. It also was a better weapon skill than them because they weren't buffed up at this point. So it's weapon skill 6 flat. It's got a high invulnerable. It's weapon skill invulnerable 4 up. And it was just
You're better initiative.
Pop. I think they're the same.
No, it's only 4.
Is it only 5?
You're 5 at least.
Either way. So
you need 6s.
Yeah, it needs 6s. 5s to hit, 6s to do anything of worth. Anyway, so it was popping them. So at that point, this was bad. However, I think he got 1 Custodes unit into base to base with the Rift. Didn't roll his 7 to shut it down. Any bangs? Our 2 daughters are here playing and mucking around, so sorry. But
remember now off the wall there.
Coming through the ceiling. It's the curse of children. A long story short is, again, the mission was skewed to me. Everything I was killing was scoring me points. So like killing a rhino here, killing a tack squad there was points. And he wasn't shutting down the Rift. The Rift was worth 10 VP, so if you shut it down, you basically won. But he couldn't get enough line units on. I did at one point make a complete tactical error, which was I had my Terminator boys out, I had the Spartan basing, I had, I think it was like a couple of Javelins, Erebus and his squad, all looking at the one squad that was touching. It was breaches, it wasn't, he had a big squad of breaches, sorry. That's what it was, big squad of breaches. All looking at this unit and ready to shoot them to crap and then charge in and muller them, and a big unit of Custodes. And then I went to shoot and he went, "You can't shoot them, they're touching the Rift." I was like, "Oh, you're absolutely right, Ollie, bollocks!" So I had to do it the old-fashioned way of fighting them before shooting, instead of shooting them. So wading into that combat went Erebus, Attack Squad, all my Terminators, my Praetor, and the only things that walked away, I did win, thanks to Thunderhammer's smashing up Custodes. I did. The only thing that walked away was my Praetor and the Banner Bearer. That's the only thing. Erebus got gimped. No, Erebus, he didn't die, but he didn't. The Titan Squad got absolutely mullered. So yeah, sorry, Erebus, my Praetor, and the Banner Bearer. In the end, Erebus got taken out by the same Galatus Dreadnought that took out all of my Gal Vorback. I got lucky at one point. The Gal Vorback should have died a turn earlier, but he completely fluffed a round of combat and didn't do any damage to me.
That's lucky.
But the Gal Vorback did eventually go down to that Contemptor Dreadnought, the Galatus, because I couldn't stop it. Erebus, I thought at one point had fought the Dreadnought and won, because for some reason I had in my head he was a librarian, not a chaplain. And I was like, oh, he's got a force weapon, and it's strength 7 unwieldy, but that puts him up to strength 14, so he's instant death AP2 on all his attacks. So I did all the rolling, and was like, I've taken out a Custodes Dreadnought with Erebus, because he'd saved his 4-up invols and all the attacks, and I was like, ah! And then someone was like, isn't he High Chaplain Erebus? And I was like, has he not got a force weapon? Consult the tome. No! He's really a psyker,
yes,
but he is not a librarian, so he hasn't got a force weapon. So I got really excited, and
so it's a really good power maul, right?
It's a strength 7 AP2 unwieldy.
Power
maul. But it was fun until I realised I'd done it wrong.
Wow!
But he did hold up that Dreadnought for a couple of rounds of combat. But yeah, I won, but mainly because the mission was skewed. I was losing ground. I was killing his heavy support squads with like weight of fire from everything, but like
since they can't evade.
You can't evade. But like the heavy support squads, they're like re-rolling their armor saves, and they're all stubborn. They're all line. I think them hitting on 2s with all their heavy bolter shots, like
fair enough.
Yeah, I think you not being evade is removed, and we having to pay for that. You don't pay for these bonuses. I'm not salty at all about people whinging about Nightfire, about Night Lords. Stop whinging about it. It's my Legion's thing.
The only thing he's good at.
That's the only thing I'm good at. We're a shooting army, not a combat army. For all those people who think Night Lords is combat.
It should be a combat army. The last edition you were a combat army. Now shooting nonsense.
One of the best shooting armies.
On to game 4.
And finally, game 4, as you say, Nick. Against Reese, who is, as I've been saying, is one of the people who runs Attrition Gaming, and is an absolutely top bloke. Mouth like a sailor. He is a builder, so I'll let him off with it. And he again was playing Imperial Fists. Reese was a buy player because obviously there's someone running the event. I think they had some dropouts, and I've been wanting to play Reese for so long. I finally got to play him. Wish I hadn't. Because his army was mean. No, actually, I had a really great time, a really good laugh. He had Imperial Fist again. He did have a big squad of Templars in a Land Raider. He had a Leviathan. He had a Contemptor. He had an Assault Cannon. Are they support or heavy support?
No, they're heavy weapon team.
The heavy weapon team. He had an autocannon heavy weapon team from memory, yes. And he had a 10-man block of Huskarls, all with Solarite Power Gauntlets, all with Storm Shields or whatever, and in Deep Strike.
Madre, all the filth.
Madre de Bijos. Yeah, that was like...
Suddenly
Gal
Vorback
tough, yeah. And then he had 3 or 4 tactical squads with their sergeants all had the Solarite Power Gauntlets, so they're rocking strength 10. And apparently they're not specialist weapons, because why would loyalists have any negatives to their rules now?
Of course not.
Not that I'm bitter about being a traitor. But great game. So the mission for this one was a bit more even. It wasn't like the last 2 that were off the place. A bit more even. This was victory points scored for killing things in assault in the enemy's deployment zone, but only in assault. So if you got there and it was still in the deployment zone and you killed it, great. And then line units. For me, line units scored VP for ending the game in his deployment zone. For him, he scored points for killing my HQs. And I think there was a couple of other little quirks in it, but that was it. I had to get in his deployment zone, he had to kill my leaders, was effectively, and if you could kill anything in the enemy deployment zone in assault, you were bonus. I think sweep and advances got you some points as well. It was a really hard fought, tough game. Really hard fought. I got turn 1, I moved forward, summoned my demons. Again, this was the mistake where the first thing I did was summon the demons, and instantly everything had augury scanners, so they just died. They did nothing. The assault cannon team, the auto cannon team, they got Fury of the Legion because they were within range of it. Because they all had augury scanners, so they all got to intercept for free. So they just got absolutely rinsed off the table. They didn't act anything.
Wow.
My Galvorback charged, I believe, the Leviathan from memory. Leviathan's not a great matchup for the Galvorback because he's strength 10.
Yes.
So a Snippy Claw instant kills. I haven't got an invuln again because I haven't got Argyle Tal.
And you feel no pain means nothing.
And feel no pain means nothing at that point. So that was like, I did chew down through the Leviathan in the end.
I suppose 6s all render an instant death.
With the same weapon skill, it's got 4 attacks, so and I've got 10 of them, so they can take a bit of attrition to get through it. Attrition, get. I effed up in this game. I could have won it. So Nick a long time ago did a trick on me where do you remember when your tactical squads were just walking up the sides to go and get line breaker, and you kind of go, the tactical squads, I won't do anything about it, and then by the end of the game you go, mother. I tried to do that, so I had two tac squads, and I was just walking up the sides going, now the squads on my right got intercepted, not reactive, but there were 3 Imperial Fist squads there. So I ended up sending my Terminators off after the Imperial Fist. Now I did end up killing all the Imperial Fists on that flank, but I was down to a very hurt tac squad working its way up there. And on the left flank, where I could want, so I took away most of the Imperial Fists, there was a Dreadnought alive. And it was wounded. I had a couple of javelins. I had was my Spartan able to shoot? I had a few things that would have been able to shoot it, and I think it had 2 wounds. I'd have clinked off those last 2 wounds. And I know what the Imperial Fist reaction is. I forgot. So I didn't move towards it, but I moved the javelin. I could have stayed still. Just turned, shot it, killed it, no problem, and then moved on later, because I had 2 tac squads working their way up. I moved the javelins past it to position for later, and he went, I charged the javelins. And he made his charge, so he got to the javelins, locks the javelins up, which meant I couldn't kill the Dreadnought, which means the Dreadnought was then free to deal with the tac squad that was heading up. Beautiful play by Reese, and this is why you must know the reactions of your opponent. It wasn't a gotcha moment at all. It wasn't. At the beginning of every game we played at this event, I said, do you know what my reactions are? Just to be clear. Because both army gets their Legion 1. I was like, you know what the Light Lord is? I run away if you charge me. Sorry. Do you know what the Word Bearer 1 is? I sacrifice Jim instead of losing in shooting. So, and he was like, do you know what the Imperial... I was like, yeah, I know the Imperial Fist.
Yeah, do not move towards them or Space Wolves.
I moved past him, but I was still in that range. It was just... I was getting ready for later turns, and I
forgot.
I blanked. Otherwise, I would have had 2 tac squads that would have been free to move on up into his deployment zone and score. But and obviously lost the javelins because Contemptors just pulp javelin. Brutal 3 AP2. So again, good play by Reese and beautifully timed. I saw a couple of people popping their advanced reaction. I was like, it's not really the time, but that was the time.
To be fair, both your advanced reactions for this army are defensive.
Very defensive. I have no offensive. Not offensive. My Night Lords 1 didn't save me at any point. I don't think I even used the Word Bearer 1 at any point because I wasn't really getting shot. Anyway, his Huskars, when they dropped down, they annihilated stuff. Now, as I say, there was a rule in this mission which was sweeping advances scored you. Didn't matter, because when you're going up against that many Solarite power gauntlets, things don't survive. Things do not survive. Also, I wasn't scoring my... I think I declared a unit... I declared something as my Dark Sacrifice, and I just was not killing it. So I was taking the wounds from this as well. A really good game. Reese is a classy opponent. He's a lovely guy. Reese does not often get described as classy, so you heard it here first. Reese is classy. And at the end, I'd kind of already lost, and I just wanted... I knew my... HQs were giving him victory points, but I was like, do you know what? I want to see Erebus go in. I want to see my Warlord go in against... I can't remember what his Warlord was, but it was... I think it was a guy in a block of Templar Brethren with a champion and all this sort of jazz. I was like, no, we're going for it. Here we go, lads. And then I did get chopped down. But it was a great laugh. I had a great time, and it was a really good way to end the event. But yeah, fisted by the fists at the end there. But yeah, 10 Huskars. Oh, that stung. There was not once they dropped down. I'd already been taking like wounds. Nothing I could do against them. But that's what got me. I was like, because once they're down, they're slow. Because they're only cataphractii, so they're only 6-inch movement. So I was
3+ invuln save.
And so they've committed to 3+ invuln save, like strength 10, power fists, or whatever. Anyway, but they committed to that flank. If I'd have only been a bit more savvy on my left, my tax would have been up and gone. But yeah, anyway, the ragged tax squad did get to his deployment zone, but he had the army to end up shooting off, so I did lose in the end. So I went 2-2, and I had an absolutely banging time. I really enjoyed my army. I really enjoyed it. I fear my opponents didn't enjoy my army so much, just because they're like, what's going on? What's happening? What can I do?
There was a lot of different things.
I can to this, but I can't to that. The Galvorback are different to these demons, but these demons are summoned. Those demons aren't summoned. Those then were the thing I was putting Dark Sacrifice. They were buffing up. This army doesn't buff up. And yeah, people were just like, what the hell?
This is awkward.
I really enjoyed it.
It sounds fun to play.
I'm going to play it on the channel because we've got Tony coming on in a couple of weeks and I'm going to play against him. Or something similar. I think I'm playing 3,000 points against him, so I'm going to chop something out. But
poor White Scars, not going to stand a chance.
They will. I think I told him I'm only going to do 5 Galvorback because Tony's a lovely guy and he doesn't deserve 10.
No. To be fair, he better knows what he's doing that for.
Oh,
I've been teaching him the last few weeks.
No, he's good. He's good. And his White Scars are glorious. It'll be fun to kill White Scars. Anyway, if you get the chance to go to an attrition event, they sell out really quick because they're really good. They are so good. They're so good. I travel 300 miles each way in a weekend to go there because I love them. The terrain is fantastic. The custom missions are fantastic. Neil and Reese are so welcoming. I got told about attrition games. I can't remember what I got told about them for. I went to a load of events a couple of years ago and someone was like, oh, you really must go to attrition? So I was like, oh, bollocks to it. I'll go and give it a one-off and go, I had the best of it. And I've tried to go to every single one. So I think I've been to Southampton. And if you know Newcastle or Southampton, I might try and post a map up to you, show you how far it is. That's the distance I travel for each one. I think I did it 6 times last year. My poor car. But I really enjoy it. It's so good fun. The people are lovely. You meet great there, and the mission, the limitations they put on in their games really help.
Yeah.
Bring a big broad spectrum of armies and army lists. And next one I'm going to is actually the end of March. So I'm down there again playing at the Boyfriends event where it's a doubles event. I'm playing with Guy. Hello, Guy! And I am playing with my Salamanders.
Oh.
Yeah, this one I was meant to go with Martin. Martin was supposed to do World Eaters so that I could do Galvorback with Argyle, Tal and Khan, and we were going to have a really good time, weren't we, Martin? But Martin can't paint an army.
Can't keep to an army, you mean? He's still got some of his World Eaters. Unbuilt.
Unbuilt, not paid. So I am now with Guy, which I'm very happy about because Guy's a wonderful player. And that is going to be us. So if you are in the mood for it or you ever see any attrition, I cannot recommend them highly enough. They are also part of the Riftforge Gaming.
All right.
So Neil and Reese do a lot of work with Sean and Tom. Hello to you all. If you like Heresy Battle Reports, if you like painting content, go and watch the Riftforge channel. They're phenomenal people. Not just friends of mine. I also enjoy their stuff on a personal, like watching their things. I've also appeared on their channel. They promise me they are coming on our channel as well.
Really?
Only because I ruffle stomped them twice on their channel and they say they're coming to
They were great Bat Reports. I watched them. I giggled my whole way through it. It was great.
They say they are going to... I won with my hands behind my back as well. Oh, the gauntlet is thrown, boys. You're going to have to come on. Wow. All right.
Challenges, yeah.
The last thing I am going to talk about is our event.
Yes.
So after a long time talking about the Attrition Gaming Boys event, we at November Echo Gaming are finally running an event. So we have been very lucky that a very nice gentleman called Gareth Edwards is running a tabletop event. Now it's not Wargaming, it's a tabletop event. So it's called the Northeast Tabletop Expo. It's going to be on the 28th and 29th of September 2024. And he has allowed us to basically rent a little side room of this big
half a room.
Half a room. It's enough. It's enough for us. It's enough for us. So we are going to be hosting our own event. If you are a member of our Facebook group, those tickets will be going live on there. There's only 20. It's very limited. It's our first event. We're starting small just to make sure that we're not biting off a bit more than we can chew. It's going to be narrative based with limitations in place. If you're a member of our Facebook group, those tickets will go live. If they don't all sell out on the 29th when they go live on the Facebook group, they will then go for general release on the 1st to the rest of the public, and hopefully they will sell out there. We would love to see you. It will be in Newcastle upon Tyne, which is in the northeast of England. Technically, it's a 3-day event.
Yes.
There will be the actual games will be played on the Saturday and Sunday, but the Tabletop Expo is open on the Friday as well, and we will be there. We will be running Apocalypse games. Yeah. We will be running silly games. Games Day from when Games Day was good, when they did sort of like really fun, stupid, like hunting Conrad Kurz in Zone Mortalis with like silly night fight, the lights get flicked on and off and you've got to hunt him and he disappears and all this sort of stupid stuff. Apocalypse Kid, intro games to Heresy. So if you are coming to the Northeast Tabletop Expo, please come and find us. And I believe that's it. Thank you very much for chatting to me, Nick.
Welcome.
And we will do many more event reviews because I go to quite a lot.
Yeah.
We are going to the Warhammer World Apocalypse. I think it's called Epsilon Stranra, something like that. But it's the Warhammer World Apocalypse game in the middle of March. We'll do one about that. And again, if you're there, myself, Derek, Ian. In fact, you're the only one not coming. Of November Echo. Yeah. We're all going to be there, so if you want to come and say hello to us, feel free. We're all generally nice people, as long as Derek is caffeinated. We'll get him a little badge saying caffeinated or not caffeinated for Derek.
Yeah, avoid
uncaffeinated. And that's it. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for sitting through it. I hope it wasn't entirely boring for you, and if it was, why did you watch it to the end?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Bye. Take care now. Bye. We'll be cutting.
True, up to me another one.
Oh, sorry, the internet for seeing my ass. Right, so that was 1 win, 1-2, and the cat's about to pull over the lights.
Yep.
Hey! We'll put that in the bloopers. Fucking cat. Right. If anyone hasn't noticed, we've gone hard on the merch. Well, it's not merch because we're not selling it. So.
True.
It's for us. Nationwide. I'm getting there.
Yeah, sure.
I'm just
scrolling.
I
was going to run out.
I'm just scrolling through all the fluff. Here we are, mission 1.
Oh.
Yeah, no, right, yeah, cool, got this. Good fun. Again. Right. Right.
Hey, not too many interruptions and only the cat broke one thing, yeah.
Love it, cat.